What's up, y'all? Tori here at the General Performance Training with another episode of the podcast, joined today by my coach and right-hand man for the last, 2 years, Mr. Pedro Guerrero.
How's it going, y'all?
Excited to bring him in today. And on the mic, son.
Gotcha.
Excited to bring him in today and kind of just introduce him to you guys. He is, a big part of the General Performance Training. So I'm just kind of excited to let him kind of share who he is a little bit, kind of what he's done and kind of what the gym has done and is doing for him as well, kind of his experience here. So kind of get into that, kind of let him kind of just talk a little bit, like I said, just briefly about kind of who is Peter and kind of maybe the role or what he feels like he does when he comes into the gym each day.
All right. So first and foremost, I'm originally from El Paso, Texas. I moved out here after I got out of the military in 2016, I'm sorry. Then once I got out of there, I decided that I wanted to come to college up here in Sam Houston. Once I came here to Sam Houston, I was here for about 6 months. During that time, I was still in the National Guard. Once I got out of, once that kind of took off, I'd say, during those 6 months I was in school as a National Guard, we were informed that we were going to go on a combat deployment to Africa. Once we came back from that in 2019, I was looking to get into special operations with the Air Force. And while I was trying to do that on my own, as far as let's see what the physical aspect of that is going to entail, because I pretty much knew that already through years of experience in the military that they're going to take care of the tactical side of it, the knowledge, all that stuff. They were going to take care of it, but it was my job to get in good enough shape for me to meet the physical requirements. So when we came back from the deployment, I took it upon myself to find pretty much a place where I could get to that level of fitness that I required to meet the standards that they needed of me. So I was at a different gym for quite a bit. I was working out there, but I wasn't seeing any progress as far as my numbers go because the tests that they had were pretty strict. I think I was looking at them earlier. For you to get a maximum amount of points on a deadlift, I want to say you have to do 5 repetitions at 470 pounds, which at that time I think my max deadlift was 425 pounds for 1 repetition. So I was like, man, there's no way I'm going to get anywhere close to that. And one day I was sitting at local restaurant here, Yummy Yummy, and the bartender there, he was a member there, member here at the General.
Shout out Jason.
Yeah, shout out to Jason. I haven't seen him in a bit, but hopefully he's good.
I think they moved to Colorado or something.
Did they? Okay.
Maybe.
Oh, that's man. He's definitely doing good up there.
Or maybe it's Austin. It's one of the two.
One of the two. Yeah, he's definitely. I'm pretty sure that's pretty good. He's a good guy. But he was when I was there, he was me and him had kind of built up a little bit of a rapport. He was just yeah, he's also ex-military. He's like, oh, you should probably check out this gym. This kind of helped me get in shape after I got out. I'm like, all right, well. At that point, I was I have nothing else to lose. I've tried everything. I'm I can't get any farther on my own. Even though I thought I was oh man, I'm pretty good in shape. What can they offer me here? So I showed up for a class on Thursday. I want to say it was just like today. And Barrett was the coach for that day, and he told me man, well, I think that you should really come either tomorrow or over the weekend because we have the Murph going on. So in that way, that can be your first class instead of just that being oh, you just show up on Thursday and that's your first class on a recovery day, which is for somebody in the mentality that was I'd probably see the Thursdays oh, it's just a recovery day. That's probably what I do it here. I would have had this completely different mental picture than I did when I actually showed up.
Right.
So when I did show up, I showed up on Murph, which was for people that don't know, Murph is a memorial workout for Lieutenant Michael Murphy, who died in Operation Red Wings. And the workout is 1 mile run, 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 air squats, and then finishes off with a mile run. And that's for guys, it's a 20-pound vest. Ladies, it's a 14-pound vest. So I showed up that day. I think I had gotten some plates that made real quick for that weekend because I was man, I want to show up. I want to look cool. I want to have my vest just to see what's up. So I showed up that day, start working out with everyone, jump in straight into the class. I'm sorry, not the class, the hero workout. And I'm kind of just seeing everyone fly through the pull-ups, and I'm over here struggling, in the struggle train on the pull-ups.
So you're doing strict?
Yeah, I was doing strict, and I was trying to figure out the kipping. I really couldn't figure out the kipping. My hands were tearing up pretty bad because I was using those rough bars that we have here. And I was man, this isn't going too well. But finally got through the pull-ups, And I was like, all right, I'm going to try to catch up on the push-ups.
Did you go straight through?
Yeah, that day I went straight through. Like, so we knocked out the mile, get into the pull-ups, went straight through the 100 pull-ups. As far as I say straight, but that was a struggle bus there. But once I got into the push-ups, and I was trying to catch up, I was like, I saw you, I saw Barrett like pushing straight through it. I think I saw Brandon straight, also one of our members here pushing straight through, and I was like, man, like, okay, I need to try to like push this pace. I need to catch up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and well, that turned into like now I'm also in a struggle bus again on the air squats because I don't think I had ever done that many air squats in a row before. So I was like, oof, okay, time for that run. And at that time in the run, like I saw like members here were like passing me, people that weren't wearing vests, and I was like, I'm like just continuously just on this downward slope, like I'm burning up pretty bad. I'm like, okay, like I need to push this last half mile on the way back from our running points here, and on the way back. Like something was not right.
Yeah.
I was like, there's something wrong right now. And then like, sure enough, I had waterlogged myself pretty much through the entire workout, just continuously drinking water. I was like, maybe the water will help. And on the way back, like people kept passing me and eventually I had to take off my vest and that threw up a whole lot of water. And when I came back, I was pretty upset at myself. I was like, that was definitely something else that I never experienced before. Like I never had gone to that point where I'm dying and puking in a workout, and that, at least, I mean, I have done that before in the military, but not in the way that everything went down. So I was like, there's something else here. Like, so I was like, immediately, like, kind of like felt like I was walking like a dog walking with his tail between his legs on the way back to the gym. Y'all had a crawfish boil going on, and I was like, I didn't really feel like I wanted to stay there. I'm like,
I remember like inviting you to stay, and you didn't stay. I was like, all right, whatever.
I was like, man, like I don't like. It's like I was just embarrassed of myself more than anything. I was like, I didn't want to be here, like, and talk about this. So I was like, okay. So I went home. And I thought about it for over the weekend. The rest of that weekend is like, all right, like I'm going to go back and kind of try to figure out what I need to do to like meet these people, because I had never encountered people like that in my life. That's just like I was very much in that military mentality of like, oh, like you're in the military, your fitness level is this like top notch physicality that no people can meet. And then when I came here to this gym and I encountered that, I was like, okay, like this is just like, yeah, it seems like there's a couple of veterans here, but it's not like just the veterans that are doing good. It's like all these people. It was something that was completely unbeknownst to me.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So then you came back the next week and did an actual class, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So the rest of the week, I think at first I told you that I wanted to start off with like, oh, I'm gonna maybe like do this like once or twice a week.
Twice a week. Yeah.
Yeah, to just kind of like supplement this with my own workouts and stuff like that.
I'll work out on my own. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, man, I think this is gonna be like something just to add on.
Yeah.
But then as I started doing that, I quickly realized like this is a whole nother thing. Like this is not just like the Metcom portion of our workouts. It's not just the metabolic conditioning. Like there's a lot of strength involved, a lot of gymnastics involved, plus all the cardiovascular aspects of it. Yeah. So on that, I was like, okay, I think I told you, I was like, I think I'm going to do this full time. So bump me up to like 5 days a week.
Yeah. Yeah. So then at that point, I think you very quickly became a 5 day a week member, like without missing. And if you missed, it was because you truly couldn't come that day. So you drank the Kool-Aid quickly.
Oh yeah. Like if there was any sort of like Kool-Aid to be drank, I drank all of it.
Yeah, all of it, every ounce. Yeah. So then at that point, I don't know, maybe a year or so went by that you were kind of like just member only, or did you start coaching before, like closer than that?
I think I'm trying to remember like how I think I was thinking about it earlier. The way things were like after COVID, like not during COVID, during 2020, like it was like that fall. I want to say of 2020 is when like I think beforehand I had asked you about like coaching stuff and like that, and like but it was just like right before the pandemic, so that kind of like didn't even
slowed it down.
Yeah, it slowed it down. We didn't even talk about that because of the whole thing there. But then once like the gym started opening up back up again. And the conversations we had, I think it was like at that point you had asked me if I wanted to be a coach, and I was like, oh, like I definitely something I definitely want to do. Yeah, because it was at that point it was something exciting when people ask you about working out or things like, oh, what are you doing that's working, or like what is not working. I'm like, well, this kind of works, but like not that much so much. Yeah. So that had already kind of been going on like in the background, like between like the members and myself.
Had you before ever thought about like coaching fitness or people before you had come in here? Is that something that's always interested you, or did that kind of develop once you came here?
I would say that developed completely while I was here. Like there was, I'd always been that aspect of I like to teach people or educate people, and that's always been though in the military setting.
Yeah.
Before for me, it was always in that mentality. It had never been like outside of that world. It was more there.
Right.
So once I did start coaching here, I realized like this is something that I do like to do because it. I think I had a conversation with you one day about because I think I had asked you if what can I do to get better physically, like as far as my CrossFit journey goes. It's like, can I do personal training with you? And he's like, well, you told me I was
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, well, I think that you being here, what you're doing, and being a coach is going to help you be a better athlete because you have to learn and understand why you're doing these things in order to teach that to people.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, like, I vividly remember my personal snatch becoming better when I first started coaching because just like constantly I was using a PVC pipe myself to teach people how to snatch. And so going and, like you said, having to understand how to do or why we're doing certain things to be successful in that lift, and then repetition over and over again. But yeah, I think that at that point, so when you said personal training, did you ask me to personal train you in a way, right? Like,
I think that's what
just like extra help or something. And then I think at that point I was like, well, why don't you just train with me instead? I think that's where that started. So then we started training together.
Right.
I think when Matt was still here too. So then all of us were training together. And then that kind of just was the thing until it is now, you know what I mean? So we pretty much haven't looked back since then.
Yeah, I think it's what it was like. We had, like after that, like whole like lockdown on COVID, we started working out together, that entire time.
We had a secret group up here working out.
Yeah, like it's like nobody looking here. Yeah. Like yes, we're
Park
locked
the
out.
car somewhere else.
Yeah, it was like so that was kind of like pretty cool to do during the pandemic. Is like we're in here like just like we're closed and unfortunately we were closed, but at the same time we're like still getting that fitness in here, and that really quickly developed into that coaching staff that we had after the pandemic. That was really cool.
For sure, it was good. I think that kind of how you are in the gym and how like the way you were able to come into that group and become a coach and things like that, like those things that I quickly kind of allowed you to do probably spoke to how I felt like you felt about the gym. So maybe talk a little bit on like maybe what the gym kind of like means to you, or like maybe your first impression of the gym, this place in itself, or like why you do what you do here.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess my first impression that I had of the gym, like, kind of went a little bit over that. When I had first like started coming here, I was like, oh, like it's not like, to me, it was just something that I wanted to supplement with my own things, and it quickly developed into like, okay, like this is not just that. Like there's more here, way more than that. So because of that like eventually led me to develop everything that I've like wanted to do here, and like why I come here all the time. It's like it's definitely become more to me like this is like not only I wouldn't say just a community for me. It's like become really part of my family in the sense of like I come here and I coach as well and I train here, but at the same time I can also talk to you. I can talk to Big Jew. I can talk to some of the other members here that we've had over the years. Like for example, like even Alex back when he was working out here, like him and I would hang out a lot of the times outside of here. So it was like not only a place where we can come and work out together, but it's also a place of to me, it was more of that family mentality.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think that's something that constantly gets brought up, on these episodes so far, just me in general. Like when I talk to people, it's, this, we're hoping to give you whatever you need this to give you. And if that's just the physical aspect, or if it is the community aspect, or, now starting our new Saturdays things, if it's the spiritual aspect or the food aspect, whatever it is, like we're trying to just supply for people to enjoy that hour, however long that event is that day here at this place, and trying to find more and more avenues on how we can do that for people. I think I did want to like kind of talk about actually like what the Saturday event kind of does for you. Like, I know we're excited about it. So kind of what that might mean to you having those events.
So I definitely like when I had first started here, Saturdays community workouts was a thing, and those Saturday community workouts, like it was kind of like cool in the sense of like it's a partner workout, so you get to work out with somebody else that you might have never met before here in the gym. And then kind of like as COVID, that kind of like dissipated away. But now that we're bringing that back, I'm not only am I excited for that portion right there that we were going to have those community workouts again, where you're working out with somebody that you might have never met before in your life. If you've been coming here to the gym for a while, for example, like you got that like morning crew versus afternoon crew, like meeting for the first time. But then also like that spiritual side of it. To me, that's something that is very near and dear for me now, especially in the last couple of months. That right there is like something that I definitely like doing, especially now since I've become a Christian in the last couple of months. I think it's at the core of everything that I want to do now in my life. Like God has to be at the center of it.
Sure.
And then that community side of the community days allows for that and to help share that with people. Yeah. And then on top of that, also like serving others and whatever that may be, whatever we might have an event for that day in the future as well. Like that is something that has always been near and dear for me as well. Like I like serving others. I like helping others to accomplish anything else that they might want to, or not anything else, but anything they want to accomplish. And whether that is getting fitter, if they want to get closer to God, if they want to also help others, that right there, I'm all for that.
For sure. I think the event aligns with you well. You definitely are a helper. I've known that about you since I've known you. And I think that we've talked about that before, how you're always willing to kind of do, that's why we call you Papa Peter. You always are helping, whether it's or animals or people here at this gym. So I think you're appreciated for that 1,000%. I think that I kind of was going to ask that, and you kind of just touched on it, but kind of what helping people in this gym specifically, since we are here and kind of talking about the general. I know you like helping any people, like not just physically, you like doing favors for anyone, but what it does mean to you to help someone achieve something or get better at something that day. Because, you can have a class where if you really think about it, I feel like whenever I'm coaching, if I sit there and almost like take it in for a second, like, and appreciate the fact that all these people are here trusting us to help them get better. And if you sit there and you like appreciate that, that's cool. Number one, that they're choosing us to do so. And then number two, like you see them like pushing or getting better or like thinking about things that we have taught them. And then they do become successful. And all those, when you take those moments in, like they're really, really cool to me. So, and I think that they would be for you too. So just talk about maybe what helping people in this gym specifically kind of does for you.
Okay. Definitely for sure. Like, I think that's definitely aligns right there with what you said. Like, you just take that moment in and you start to see like, man, like you've been talking to this member, you've been helping it. Like, for example, let's just use this exercise of pull-ups. Like you've been telling me like right now you need to start doing ring rows. All right, now you've mastered the ring row movement. You have a lot of capacity in there now. And then you see them do that and like, man, that's really cool that they've like put in that work. They're there. They want to put in the work to get better. And then you start progressing them over the guard. Now let's do banded pull-ups or jumping pull-ups. And they start doing that. They continuously push through that. You see them come in and day in and day out and do those movements. And then they get good at that. And they're like, all right, like what's next? They like start like also coming to you like, all right, like I'm ready to go for the next one.
For sure.
And I like seeing that people when they're like ready to challenge themselves and they're like, I want to
learn.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
So that for me, like whenever I think like the most recently, it was just yesterday in the 12 o'clock Wednesday class, I was seeing one of our members here, Emily, do strict pull-ups. And I was like, man, like I wanted to come over and tell her, like, do you remember that time last year during the open that you were worried about even getting one kipping pull-up?
Right.
And like, look at you now, like you're doing like multiple strict pull-ups.
For sure. We talked about like, the progress, like train basically kind of on last episode a little bit, and just how we're able to be people's kind of accountability partners because we're able to remember those times, like, and remind them, look where you've come from, and it's cool to do that for people and, excite people on that end and reassure them that you are getting better and what you're doing is working and like, continue coming and keep pushing and goals will be accomplished. I think something else I wanted to talk to you about. Maybe you kind of a little bit, and I don't know how far into that you might want to go, and I probably should have asked you that before you got on air, but maybe whether maybe how it's the gym / community, people here, whatever it is, when talking about the gym specifically, kind of what that's maybe done for you since you came here, maybe some changes you've had in your life, some positive growth, kind of just really as much as you or as you kind of want to go through a little bit, and then we're going to go into some kind of random get to know Peter questions and we'll wrap up here.
All right. Sounds good to me. So pretty much what's the gym has done for me as far as like getting better, pretty much in overall, I see that the gym has made me a better person in every aspect. There hasn't been a single aspect of my life that hasn't been touched by this gym. For example, like going back to what I said that I wanted to go into Air Force Special Operations when I had first come here, like that eventually fell by like their famous motto, that fell by the wayside. Because I realized that I wanted to not go down that path anymore because I wanted to follow a fitness career here. I wanted to get in. At that time, I want to say I did my first open, and I realized that like this is something I could do. Like I do like doing these things. So because of that, like I followed that straight through the open. My first open, I don't think I signed up for that. Then the year after that, I signed up for it and barely missed the quarterfinals mark. And then this last year, I pretty much pushed as hard as I could, did everything that I could to make that happen, and did happen. So it was just that, like.
And you also made something else for.
Oh yeah, correct. Yeah. So on top of making the quarterfinals there, I also made the occupational games, which is the top 10% of every occupation. So like I think it's veterans, students, military service members, law enforcement, and such like that.
And in like a year, really, of actually doing CrossFit. I mean, like that first open, probably where you might not even have had all the movements yet because you had just started. So you got pretty good pretty quickly. So don't, give yourself some credit on that end is all I'm saying.
Appreciate it.
You progressed quite a bit quicker than Tori did, okay? Well, it took about 10 years to figure out toes to the bar. Right?
Well, I was thinking about that earlier, actually, like of the sense of like, oh, like, yeah, you did progress really quickly. And like, I definitely do appreciate you, like, saying that. Like, I do realize that I did progress really quickly. I think what had gotten me to progress really quickly had always been this mentality previously in the military and in my civilian life before the military that like you're just thrown into these environments like, and there's a standard and you just have to rise to the standard no matter what it is. Like, and that's like there's, in the majority of those times, there's no progressions. There's no like, hey, like you need to like do this and do this till you get there. Like here's a task, accomplish it, figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
So
I definitely feel like, I mean, because I didn't like, when I was like, yeah, come train with me, I didn't baby you by any means. And, and I was just like, this is what I'm doing. And I probably didn't even tell you modifications and was just like, he'll figure it out or he won't. Like, I don't feel like I was like the most generous help during that time. So I feel like that is what happened to you, where you were just like thrown into that and you had to figure out how to make it through it. And that's like what progressed you like so quickly, is you just having to figure it out.
Yeah,
5 days a week for the last however many years.
Yeah, like I think, but at the same time, like I definitely won't tell you like that you didn't help me, because there was definitely like I think it was more of the mentality like, yes, you are thrown into the situation and you have to like meet that standard. Like there's no modifications, but it was also like, hey, like there was definitely those like either comments or adjustments or coaching here and there where it was like, hey, no, like do this or do that. Like there was definitely like it was a controlled.
Only giving you so much info.
It was like just enough.
Get in your time. You got to figure out some things on your own.
And that's honestly, that's also part of. I think that's also part of like a fitness journey as well. Yes, like here as coaches, we're here to help you and like guide you to where you need to be. But there's also a lot of like, hey, like you need to figure it out on your own as well.
Yeah, I mean, like the experience of figuring things out or figuring out better ways to do things is definitely helpful. People have to be independent on that end for sure.
Yeah. But just to kind of like wrap things up like on that, and like once like that, like I started moving away from the military and started moving further into CrossFit. Like once like I made quarterfinals and I made the occupational games, and I realized like like this is something that I could get good at, and what else do I need to do to make that happen? And I think I had seen something online at one point. I think it was Bergeron's pyramid of success of an athlete, and at the very bottom was like better people make better athletes. Oh. And so I was like, okay, like then what am I doing on outside of the gym that is affecting my ability to perform in the gym? So at that point, I think that's when I realized I need to stop drinking, because as if people don't know me, like, well, now you will know, like I'm definitely an alcoholic. Like I do not drink anymore, but for many years before I was even 21, I was drinking a lot. Like it was not just like a couple beers here and there. It was like, or a little bit of alcohol or liquor. It was a lot. It was constantly been something that's been running my life for a very long time. So because that I came to this place and I was trying to follow that path, eventually I got led to this place where I'm like, hey, like this is something that you no longer need in your life, and you need to cut it out if you want to get any better.
Right.
So because of being like that, obviously like I believe that God has a plan for all of us, but I also do believe that if I would have never come here, that would have never happened on my own. I would have never taken that initiative of like, hey, like maybe you should probably stop drinking a little bit. Like you're probably going a little bit too much. Yeah.
Like it was something that you personally might have needed to do, but not without the situation of wanting to do certain things. Would you have done it before?
Right.
Cool.
But yeah, that's like, honestly, like that right there is like the biggest one that I can think outside of like how, like, if you put my life in a circle, like that's how this place has changed me so much. Like I could go into all other smaller things of like, okay, like this gym has made me change this in my life. That's made me change that in my life here in this portion of my circle. But because of that, like it's the reason why I've also eventually became a Christian as well, because of the path that I was following. I was going down this path. I was trying to, like I said, I was trying to become a better person. I was trying to be a better athlete. And obviously, if you are a person that has ever been down the rabbit hole of addiction or just negative behaviors or anything that kind of stuff, you know that you can't just become a better person just by, oh, like I'm going to be a better person tomorrow. Like it has to be a core change. Yeah. Like it has to be changed at your core. There's not something like, oh, I'm just going to change like these little things here. Like if your mind is not right, if your heart is not right, things aren't going to change.
Yeah. And that was a fun process that I think I've gotten to have a front row seat to. So won't go further into that, and if we don't want to, but I just want to say I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
And like I said earlier, you're appreciated of being here, and that's why I wanted to bring you on and make sure people kind of knew that you are a good face of this gym and of this place because kind of what you do, and I think that you enjoy doing it, and it's cool to see this place not only affect in a positive way, our members and who we're kind of responsible for, but also like someone who is doing the doing for those members too. It just kind of sets a good example of like what we or this can do for anyone that's welcome to it.
Right. Yep. I definitely agree.
Okay. I have some random get to know Peter questions.
All right.
Not that many. Favorite color?
Favorite color? Definitely gray or black for sure. I don't know why. Like that's always stuck with me. Like
you like really thought, and then you're like gray or black.
Yeah, like just like monotone dark colors. If you're getting like just getting down to it, like I think it's just like very much that military mentality of like it has to be like monotone. It has to be like in this like. I don't even know if I want to get straight into like really what my mentality goes into this. Whenever I ever think of like feels like, oh, what do you like about this or what do you like that, is like you got to follow the 3 rules that I always follow in my life. It's silly rules, but real quick. Rule number 1: always look cool.
Yeah,
Good
rule.
Yeah, exactly. Rule number 2: always know where you are. And rule number 3:
also a good rule.
Yeah, and rule number 3: if lost, refer back to rule number 1.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's like,
if I'm going to be lost, I better look cool doing it.
Exactly. Instead of lost here in the middle of the corner, but I look cool at least.
No, look cool. Yeah, I wouldn't have not guessed black for you.
Really?
No, but I mean.
Yeah, wearing black. Yeah.
But it was just funny that really was your answer. Okay, favorite thing about the gym?
Ooh, favorite thing about the gym? I think that I'm gonna go with probably the bar area up here in the front, like where we're sitting at right now, like more specifically like the bar area, because like it looks like a bar, but like all we really do is this is where we eat, this is where we hang out after a workout, like or even after an event, like if it's the open or if it's like if you've like for example like if you held like a special going away party for somebody or like it's somebody's birthday or something like that, like this is where we come, like, and we have a TV up there.
It's like the couch on Friends.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a coffee shop. Yeah, it's like our couch.
Yeah, it's our own little central perk here. Like,
yeah, for sure. We probably could just sit on these couches though. That would make more sense.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, you're right.
Okay, favorite lift.
Ooh.
Okay, we'll separate the two. We'll go Olympic lift. Favorite lift.
Okay, favorite lift, deadlift for sure.
No, Olympic lift.
Oh, Olympic lift. I'm sorry, snatch for sure.
Okay, and then now we'll say power lift is going to say deadlift.
Yeah, deadlift for sure.
Oh, like, really?
Yeah, like for sure. Like the snatch is like, so like to me, the snatch is so cool to me. Like yes, clean and jerk is there and it's fun to do, but like the snatch, everything has to be dialed in if you want to hit that lift. Like if everything's not dialed in, like if the strength isn't there or the technique isn't there or the mobility isn't there, like you're not going to hit that lift.
Yeah, 100%. Favorite gymnastics movement.
Favorite gymnastics movement. This is a little harder one just because like I do like muscle ups. Like whether it's bar muscle ups or ring muscle ups. What I don't like is that they always tear my hand no matter what.
100%.
Even if you're good at them, I would have to go with probably toes to bar now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of thought you were gonna say handstand walking.
Ooh, I mean handstand walking, yes and no, just because like. It's like I still haven't gotten to the point where like I'm doing like obstacles or anything like that. Like, I'm probably if I did obstacles on handstand walking, I'd probably get good at them.
Yeah.
But like right now,
Usually
it's like,
practice helps.
yeah, a little bit. Sometimes every now and then, you know.
Okay. Favorite open workout.
Ooh, that's okay. Favorite open workout 22.2.
Remind me what that was.
22
The deadlifts and burpees.
Yes, deadlift and burpee. So it was from starting off at rep 1. So you did 1 deadlift and then 1 burpee over the bar, and then you go to 2 reps of both movements, and then 3, 4, all the way to 10. Once you hit 10, then you go all the way
Try to climb back down.
Yeah, try to climb back down the ladder to 1, but you have a 10-minute time cap.
Yeah, gross.
Yeah, it was such a gross little workout that you was in there. But like the reason why that workout was so favorite to me, it was because like not only was everyone here at the gym for that workout, but also like my friends from like the military also came and watched that
was
workout.
Fun. Yeah, I remember.
But I think the reason why it makes it so memorable is because I puked like I went to the bathroom and I puked like probably like 6 or 7 times, and I was just like in there like I was like, this one counted, like that one counted for sure. Like I'm not redoing that ever again to that level.
All right, favorite dog, NJ or Coors?
Ooh,
Shelby listens to this podcast.
I know. So I'm like, I'm gonna have to go with NJ just because, like, as much as I love Coors, I know the little monster. She's over there passed out. Like, I do love Coors. Don't get me wrong. Like, he's just like he's one of the boys. Like,
yeah, one of the boys.
He's Coors, one of the boys. But NJ is like that little like. Every time that I look at her, she's like out there in the parking lot. I'm like, "What are you doing, dude?"
Yeah,
and she's like, looks at me and like
tongue out.
Yeah, tongue out. Like I always like voice her, and I'm like, she's like, nothing.
Leave me alone.
Yeah, like I'm just out here, thug life.
Yeah, we'll bring NJ on one day, but she's the best. But I was gonna bring Barrett back on for like some closing things, but we can talk about it. You were here for the workout, so
yeah.
We'll kind of talk about some things coming up, reminders, as well as talk a little bit about my workouts last week because we mentioned that I'd be doing them. So we're going to let you guys know if you care how those went. First thing, this Saturday is our first community day. We kind of touched on that earlier in the episode where we're going to have our workout beginning at 9 a.m. Then we're going to have Bible study and food following that. And then we're going to do a community act. We'll have those once a month from here on out. We'll kind of get those scheduled out and do lots of different community acts with people and or fun games together, and just kind of continue to build and grow the community we have here, as well as offer more ways to reach more people going into this new year where we're coming up on. Then the other reminder is, and this is going out, Halloween. We talked about what we're going to do for the workout. Last episode, we didn't know which day we're going to do it. We're going to have that on actual Halloween, which is Monday, the 31st, obviously. We'll do that evening. We'll do a costume workout and have some food and just kind of hang out and have fun. I guess we'll have candy. See if there's a lot of kids around here, actually. I've kind of built good relationships with them, so maybe they'll come trick or treat. We'll have fun with that.
That's true.
Then those workouts. So, Barrett kind of called my shot on the last episode. If you can go back and watch it. If you haven't yet, you should, because he literally, manifests the future a little bit for me. He was talking about the workouts, and he was like, one of them, I think she possibly, and I cut him off, and I was like, don't say it. And he was like, she's going to do really well on, I think he was going to say she might possibly win, or maybe he was just going to say, do really well on it. But I did, in fact, actually win that workout, which was pretty cool. I get a little payout for it, so it's kind of worth it and fun to redo it, because had I not redone it, actually, I wouldn't have beat it. I think the next heaviest weight was 227. So the weight that I would have submitted would have been 225, when in reality I could have hit more than that. I hit 231 the day that I retested. Thought I hit 236, which was the weight that I missed three times, something.
It was multiple times that last week.
And I actually ended up hitting 241 because we loaded the bar wrong. So that was fun. But so I won that event, which was pretty cool. And I did well in the other 2 workouts. We had some double unders and box step overs and lots of gymnastics and burpees and barbell stuff. And did well on those 2, and I'm sitting 45th right now on leaderboard. They take 75 to this event that I'm trying to qualify for. We do have another week full of 3 more tough workouts. I am really excited about 2 of them. I think I could do well. They are gross and fast, and then one of them is going to be just long, and I hope I can just fall asleep and make it through it. So those results will come out next week. So next podcast will be able to let you guys know if I have in fact qualified for Fitness Experience or not this year. And then we'll keep plugging away at events coming up in the new year with the Open coming around the corner. But other than that, I think that we will let Peter maybe have the last finishing closing words today to wrap us up.
All right. So let's see. Closing words. So I would say real quick, just to kind of like highlight that lift that you did on when you hit 241. Like that to me was just like that was like such a Tory moment.
Yeah.
That to me, it was like a Tory moment. It's like, not only did I load the bar wrong, but it was like a perfect load. It wasn't like, oh, like one side was uneven and the other side, it was like, that was like it was deliberately perfect. And then when you went and hit the lift, it was just like, I saw it and I was like, she's going to hit that lift. Like, there's no question about it. Like, if you know what the
I have
lift,
a mind made up for sure.
yeah, like the way that question, the way that like you hit that second jerk, if you know what the lift is for that, like I was like, oh, whenever she comes out of that last squat and into that jerk, like she's going to hit this lift.
Yeah.
So I was just,
I'm glad I did, because I would have been really pissed had later when I found out that it was 241, and maybe that was why I missed what I thought was 236.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad that I still hit the lift.
but like, just think about that. Like, it's so crazy, like that, just crazy strong how like hitting 241, like I don't even know, like I think I would struggle to hit like probably around that weight for that complex, honestly, just looking at it. So I think that was pretty impressive. But like,
Thank you.
Just to wrap things up, I'd say that like if you are a person that is out there and that's listening to this podcast, whether you are a member or if you want to try us out, I definitely think that you should, because this place, as for me, it's always been a place where I can come and better myself in one shape, in one way or another, and it has helped me grow as a person, no matter what that has been.
Yeah, and I think that having you here and me watching that happen for you in your life, I think that is one of the big encouraging factors of why, of like this kind of shift for me has happened to where I want to do more things, and why like I want to be better on my physical end, but also why I want to like grow this gym and reach more people and do more things that are more meaningful, because I have seen that this gym can be effective in that way, or this place or whatever it is can be effective in a really positive way, and that's because of kind of watching the positive growth and change you've had. So I appreciate what you've allowed me and this gym to do for you, because it's motivating us, me and Barrett included, to do more and more bigger and better things for people.
Oh, I'm glad that I could help out that way. Like, I think it's important to have that like feedback there.
For sure.
But outside of that, like, I don't think I have any other words for y'all. I definitely will say that if you're a member that's showing up today or showing up the rest of this week, keep your batteries on, keep your head on the swivel, because it's a tough workout. So you better keep your eyes on.
All right, y'all. Well, that is it. Barrett's trying to sign language me some things behind the scenes over there, because I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to podcasts, really, and he's the best. So I have no idea what he's saying, so we're just going to finish up here. Thanks again. Hope y'all enjoy it. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. That's what he was saying. I just figured it out because we're basically twins. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.
Peace, y'all.